Hello, my lovely edge dwellers. Lucca here, Power Sorcerer. You are tuning in to Ask Lucca Live, which is today episode 32 on October the 24th. And I'm here a few minutes early as usual so that we can collect everybody together. So if you're joining this in the recording, you want to forward in about 2 minutes, and then you'll get the beginning that is the beginning of the official beginning. So hi Bassam, hi Tara. So feel free to say hello as you arrive. It's always nice to know who's here. I can't see your actual faces, but I can see your little images, and I can see your names and what you have to say, which is just great. And I encourage you, if you haven't already, to take a look at the notes that I pinned to the top of the group. Hi, Denise. Blessings to you too, Tara. I put a few notes there about how I do the work and what you need to keep in mind as I do the reading, and that way I don't have to take up the time during the session to explain it all. Hi, Yvette. So it's gray. You have to tap on it and enlarge it a little bit if you're on your phone, otherwise you won't be able to see it very well. I haven't managed to type it up again. It was something I typed up when I was doing sessions at fairs and that kind of thing. So where I was doing little short sessions like this, and I didn't have time to explain what I was doing and how it was working. Hi, Flora. So we've got 1 more minute to go. I love that people who are showing up know other people who are showing up. There's always this little backwards and forwards. Hi, Paula. A little backwards and forwards goes on with side conversations with people who know one another, which is just great. And the sun has come out here in Vancouver after having rained quite hard for a few days. So we're really pleased about that. Well, I'm really pleased about that. Can't speak for anybody else. Hi, Anne. And I'm assuming that my mic is working and everybody can hear me. Otherwise, somebody would have indicated by now. It's hard to test it without doing a little blip on Ask Lucca Live, which confuses everybody. So, and I pulled an angel card. These are part of the angel card deck. Not angel cards. They're called truth bombs. I know it comes up backwards on here. You have to look at it with a mirror. But they're from Danielle Laporte, and I particularly like them as a way of having a little grain of sand that I put in the oyster that I use as metaphor for what's going on. And today I pulled one that says, "Angels, angels everywhere," which I thought was kind of appropriate because I often tune into the angels. So I guess that's reminding me that some of the information is going to come from there today. And hopefully I'll be able to come back at the end and check in on that. So it is 1:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody again, all my lovely edge-dwelling community. Lucca here, Power Sorcerer. This is Ask Lucca Live, episode 32 on October the 24th. And I will continue doing these. I see, Yvette, that you're going to pop out early. That's okay. I will see you come and go. It tells me when you're leaving, which is lovely. What was I saying? I just momentarily lost my train of thought. Oh, I will come back at the very end of the session to let you know, hi Tracy, that what my services are and how you can access them if you're of a mind to do that. So I won't say it now at the beginning because there's a lot of you here with whom I've worked before, and you don't need to hear it all over again. The only thing that you might not know, some of you, is that I've changed my rate structure for the duration of the pandemic. Right now, my guides are telling me that will be until the end of December. That's what they're saying at the moment. So that means that the only fixed rate I have is for my Ping mini readings, which is the 15-minute readings. That's 15 minutes for $30. The rest of them you can intuit with me to see if you can't afford my full rate, because it would cause hardship for you right now, then we'll talk about what it can be and settle on something that works. So we're all good to go. I have, I think, about 6 questions ahead of time today. So we'll work our way through them, and then if we have any time at the end, if any of you have an additional question, then you can throw it into the comments at that time, and I'll be able to see them. And hi, Andrea, and we'll go with them. So today's before I start, what I say every time is your gut feel is about what's right for you is more important than anything anybody can tell you, and that includes me. So don't give your power away to anybody else. If I tell you anything that doesn't make sense to you about timing, anything I might say about the future, which is a probability only, then put it in a holding tank and wait until you get validation. Because sometimes we don't know what a symbol means, or we're not sure about timing, because that's changing all the time as we go along. So put it in the holding tank, and that keeps it safe. You don't have to act on it right away. So first question today is from Denise. Denise says, as my dad just passed away recently, and I wanted to know how I can tell if he's with me. I miss him so very much. He was my hero. So Denise, your dad. Let's see what we can find about. Yes, I've got your dad. My feeling is that he's gone from a place of being in discomfort to a place of peace. And that's not unusual. I often pick that up around people who've passed over. But where he is, he wants to reassure you that where he is right now, he's in good shape. Like the physical things that would have bothered him here aren't bothering him where he is now. And also that he's quite happy there. That I think he had, before he died, a little bit of fear about what was on the other side. Some people have very strong spiritual beliefs about what it's going to be like, and that either gives them comfort or it scares them to death. I think he was a bit scared, and he wants you to know that where he is now, it is absolutely, he says, absolutely fine. That's high praise from him. He wasn't really effusive about how great things could be, but he's feeling quite relieved about how things. Well, he doesn't feel the relief there, but he would have felt relieved if he had known what he knows now before he died. He would have felt better about the whole process. So he says to you and to everybody else who's listening today that there's nothing to be afraid of in death. That once you pass over, you pass into good hands, loving hands, that you have a different, more comfortable perspective, and that it's absolutely fine. It's just like walking into another room. So, as much as you can get comfort from what someone else says, that's the message that he would like to pass on to you today, Denise. So he's with you. He is and will be, continue to be one of your guides. And that was always the plan. He says, this is not news. That's always been the plan. Once I went, I was going to still hang around. I think he used to joke about that. But he means it now in a whole different way. He still has this sense of humor where he is, which is lovely. You'll recognize that. You'll know when he's there, because memories of things he used to say will pop into your mind. And they're very much doing that right now, and he's very much with you right now. So he'll always be around you, but you won't necessarily be picking him up unless you need him. So that's what he wants you to know about that process. So that's it for you, Denise. Next person is Anne. Anne says, do you see Andrew and I moving to a better house somewhere here, in the Comox Valley, which is on Vancouver Island, or back to Vancouver? My feeling is at this stage, Andrew, you and Andrew, Anne and Andrew. Yeah, I don't see you going anywhere right now. This is this is not the best time to be making a move. It's not a best time in terms of finding a place or making the move or all the financial considerations. And so what they're saying to you both is stay where you are for the time being. You will know when it's time to move. You'll get a sign. They're saying, you'll get a sign. Don't worry, you'll get a sign. And you in particular, Anne, are tuning in all the time. So you'll get it, I think, probably first. Although I think you'll get it and Andrew will come home and he'll announce it on the same day that you get it. And that will be your validation. So you're safe where you are at the moment. If any little glitches come up, don't worry about them. They'll sort themselves out. But this is not the time for the big move. So that's for you, Anne. Next person is Yvette. Yvette says, should I travel to see my mother in Europe for... Well, that was a quick answer. In Europe for Christmas or January. And so that's one question. And the next one is my mother will be still holding up until then? That's her plan. As things stand, on a spirit level, that's her plan, to still be around by the time you can get to her safely. But stay in touch with her, like over the interwebs. But they're saying, no, don't travel. Don't travel right now. And don't travel. I mean, in the car it's fine to travel, but don't, for you in particular, Yvette, do not go and get on an airplane unless you absolutely have to. They're putting that caveat in there, but it's not likely. Definitely not likely. So that's for you, Yvette. Tanya Lynn says she has a work question. Am I where I'm supposed to be? Big question. Or will I eventually go down a different path? You are where you're supposed to be for now. You will go down a different path, not a completely different path. It's not going to be alien to you, but not yet. So the timing is, as things stand at the moment, because anything about the future is a probability, and timing is definitely a probability, and everyone in your life, including you, has free will, so you can alter this. But as things stand at the moment, you are where you're supposed to be. They're giving me tentative timing on this, that you'll get another piece of information that will help you to make this decision by about February. What they're showing me is February. Is it February this? Yeah, so it's this coming February, 2021, unless things change. So as we get close to that, you might want to check in with me again, or check in with your own intuition and see what you get around that. But that's what it's looking like at the moment. So you're heading in the right direction at least. So and this different path you're supposed to go down, you can't miss it if you stay where you are now. Okay, next question is Paula, and I saw you here, Paula. So we're all set. Paula says, this month has been very heavy on heart chakra, with chest pain, stomach shut down. Feel very deeply sadness. Is this going to end soon? Am I clearing out all past emotions stuck in my body? So I have a big yawn here. And those of you who work with me regularly know that if I yawn like that and I'm not tired and I haven't been yawning, that it's about resistance. I would say, Paula, that you're sitting in some resistance at the moment about what you perceive to be open to you. So what I'm picking up is that there are some things that are open to you right now, but you don't believe that they are. And there are other things that you want to be open for you right now that don't seem to be. So this is where I tell I share the analogy of the Jenga block game. We have a game here called Jenga, and it's these there's all these long wooden, like dowels, but squared, about the length of your finger. And you stack them 3 this way and then 3 this way and then and you pile them. And so you have a tower. And then you go in and you tap them on the end to see which ones are loose enough to be able to move them. And you take one out and you put it on the top. And that's your turn. But if you tap one and it's not moving, then if you keep tapping it, it's weight bearing and the tower will topple over and you're out of the game. So in life, the things that move are the things that you're supposed to go with. And sometimes even really challenging things, stuff that's hard, scary even, move. If they move, follow them. If they don't move, leave them alone for now, move on to something else that moves at the moment. So that's what they're telling you, Paula, about your choices at the moment. And they're saying your physical symptoms are to a large extent related to what you perceive to be possible choices for you, and also the extent to which you feel empowered. So that means that the job that the next step that you want, and you don't think it's moving, you don't think it's possible for you. It isn't that it isn't moving, it's that you think for some reason it's not possible. Revisit that. Because the thing that you really want over here, that you're trying to make happen, isn't moving. So not moving, don't follow it. So that's yours. But the coming back to your health, heart chakra has to do with belonging. So there's some way in which you're feeling like you're on the outside. You're not included. And so what they're telling me is that you need to revisit that and determine whether you're really not included or whether you think you're not included. Because I think you're making some assumptions about it that might not be accurate. And that's true for everybody right now. A lot of our old assumptions are coming up right now to be revisited so that we can assess whether they're really true. And many of them are not. And we've become attached to them because we've been working on them for so long, and we've been feeling like we want to be right about them. And sometimes we're not, and we just have to put them down, just let them go, and just put them on the ground and walk on and leave them there. Don't worry, you can't lose anything. If it's supposed to come back, it'll come back. You won't be able to walk away. It'll surface again somewhere else, but try putting it down for a start. So that's the heart, the heart chakra, and the chest pain is associated with that. Your stomach shut down, it is something you can't digest. And this is stress, right? Very much to do with stress. The feeling of deep sadness, again, connected to the heart, and feeling like, because the other thing, Paula, is that you're empathic. So do check in when you're feeling that deep, deep sadness and ask yourself whether it's yours or other. So do you say to yourself, is it mine or other? It might be other, like belonging to the whole world. And on those days, you need to put a bubble around yourself and do whatever you need to do to feel like you're helping the planet. But don't take it all on as yours, because that kind of weight of sadness can sink you. It'll just, your little rowboat will go down, and you'll be stuck in the shallows, and you won't be going anywhere. It's not going to kill you, but you'll get stuck in the shallows with a boat that has sunk. And yes, you are clearing out past emotions that are stuck in your body, but the emotions are attached to the assumptions. So that's where the assumptions come in. So I hope that's helpful to you, Paula. Go away and have a play with that. And if it's still not making sense to you, come back and ask again next week. All right, next person is Tracy. So Tracy also has a question about physical symptoms. Tracy says, last 2 mornings, what feels like my liver on my left side under my rib cage area has been unwell, in quotation marks, unwell, causing discomfort. Any guidance, please? All right, so what are we getting about Tracy's liver? Okay, I was asking if the liver was about courage, and they're saying, nope, you can see my nose. My head just about twists off my body. So let me see what I do get if it's not about that. No. They're telling me there isn't. This is weird because this doesn't usually happen, Tracy. But they're telling me I don't have any information for you about that today. They're saying that you have what you need to know about that already, and a lot of what you're doing at the moment, Tracy, is about learning how to listen to your own intuition and knowing what it means. And they've said this to you before, and they're saying it again. They're showing me the image of a petri dish, and that you treat your body like a petri dish for learning about life. So you manifest physical symptoms, and it doesn't mean you're a sadist or anything, or a masochist doing it to yourself, right? But this is it's a habit of yours, and you may want to ask when you have a symptom whether that's the way you want to continue doing it, because it causes pain for you. It's discomfort, and you may not want that anymore, or certainly not as much of it, or maybe not at the volume that it's coming in right now. So go back in. Their guidance for you. They're underlining the word guidance here because you said any guidance, please. They're saying the guidance for you is to go inside, listen to your own knowing and act on it, and stay in the loving energy for yourself. Then that's going to translate into loving energy for all the people around you. But don't start with loving people outside you, or even animals outside you, and then hope that that transfers to yourself. You want to start by loving yourself, and loving yourself exactly the way you are is what they're saying to me. They're saying exactly the way you are. All right, so that's what they have for you today. Hi, Moji. So if any of you have any more questions that you would like to ask, feel free to throw them into the comments, and I'll pick them up in the order in which they come up. I don't think any of you have put any in here yet. No. So feel free to throw a question into the comments if you have one, or if you have one that clarifies anything that I've said already today. I'm coming back to the Truth Bomb card that I pulled that says angels, angels everywhere. Hi, Judy. And so I'm also thinking that we've got the angelic realm present today. And so I'll come back to that one because I think that's going to play out right now. So Tara says, will my appointment on Monday bring long-awaited answers, or at least put me in the right direction for answers? Well, they're saying yes, but not because they're going to give you the answers, but because by asking the question, you're already answering your question. Just by the act of asking it that clearly, you're answering it. You'll get your answer for yourself because you're asking the question as clearly as you're asking it. So it's a roundabout thing, but it's about the law of attraction and about setting your intention. So the short answer is yes, it will bring you long-awaited answers, but they may not fall out of the mouth of the person that you go to see. They may come from you yourself, but you will get the right. It will put you in the right direction. So let's see, Tracy. You said I literally laughed out loud. My thought instantly was, I've got to stop using my body as my pendulum. You can use it as your pendulum, but not as a petri dish. Like, don't do harm to yourself as you do this. Like, you don't want to manifest discomfort, but you can manifest yeses and nos. That's fine, right? So Tracy also says, my friend Brad is struggling with depression and trying to get his studies finished. Any guidance for him, please? He asked me to ask you, so we have his permission. Brad Brad is trying to study the wrong thing, either the wrong thing or in the wrong way. And that's what's causing the depression. He's forcing himself because he feels responsible, because he's put so much into this already, and he's trying so hard, and he's invested in it, and it feels like it would be irresponsible to either chuck it and do something else, or do it in a slightly different way. If he does it in a slightly different way, he's afraid it's going to take much longer. It actually won't. It'll go faster when he's doing it the way that works better for him. So that's what the depression's about. The depression is his body telling him, no, not this way. And I don't think I mean direction. I think I mean how he's doing it. And I think he'll know what that how part means better than I do. I don't think I need to know. I think if you say that to him, he'll get it. So throw that one his direction and see what he does with that. So anybody else have any questions today? I'll let you throw them in the comments if you do. But I come back to this idea of the angels being with us today. They've got some very powerful advice for us, which is that fear is not our friend. And so if you find yourself disappearing into fear, you can ask yourself, what would happen if I chose to step out of the fear and into a feeling of confidence that whatever this looks like right now, it's the right thing in the right way at the right time for me in this moment. So that they're saying that is super, super important. To stay out of the fear, because the fear is rampant around us right now. It's in all of our media, but also hope is rampant. There's as much hope as there is fear out there, and we get to choose, like by flipping our switch, we get to choose what channel am I going to listen to. So listen to the optimism, hope, positive offers channel, because there are all kinds of people out there right now offering things that feel good, that feel in alignment with who we are. And if we go out there and we grab those and we entertain them, we invite them into our bubble, then we will do much better than if we stay in the responsible, what if, I have to make contingency plans. They're not saying don't be responsible, but don't disappear into the fear, because the fear is what keeps us at a lower vibration. And this whole transition between the three-dimensional and the multidimensional world is about moving up vibration levels, i.e. moving into higher and higher, like higher sound frequencies, higher and higher vibrations. And if you can move up in those vibrations, then your world looks different and you attract differently. And that's what we're wanting right now. So don't beat yourself up for being in fear. Just give yourself the opportunity to make a different choice. And I think that's going to help you a lot. So that's what the angels are saying to me, as they jump up and down and want me to pass this along. So Andrea says, my daughter would like to know if our Auntie Dee Dee that passed away in March is okay and watching over us. Yes, Auntie Dee Dee is fine. Auntie Dee Dee is doing something right now that is requiring her energy. And I usually say, there's no energy limitation there, but there is energy focus. And her focus is not on you guys right now because you're fine. She, if you yell and say, Auntie Dee Dee, we need you right now, then she'll be there. But I don't think you need her. You're doing okay. You have the resources and the courage and the support to do what you need to do right now. So I don't think that you need to worry. You definitely don't have to worry about Auntie Dee Dee. She's fine. She's happy. She's occupied. She likes to be occupied. She's not just floating around drinking cups of tea and waiting. She's doing stuff. So, and I think that's in keeping with who she is. And Andrea also says, oh, and please tell her that her little leprechaun misses her. Well, she knows that from where she is. Your Auntie Dee Dee absolutely knows that. Is there a costume involved in this leprechaun thing? Because she's saying put the costume on, because then you'll feel even more in character and you'll feel me close. You'll feel me close. And she's patting her heart around the feel me close piece, which is lovely. Good strong heart vibes on this one. Any other questions? I have not had for a little while now as much time during the session for your questions to come up, and I'm quite enjoying this, to be able to just take them spontaneously like this. So if any of you are wondering about anything, or even if anything is just popping into your mind right now, then I'm happy to entertain that, see if I get anything. In the meantime, let me just check in and see if there's anything else for the group, or for the group that's going to listen to this in the recordings. They're saying what they've been saying for a while now, which is that this virus is not the enemy. How am I? Divinity says, "How are you, Lucca?" I'm actually doing just fine. I'm happy as long as I continue to do this work. This is what keeps me engaged and useful, and keeps the energy moving, and I'm enjoying this. And the more of these that I do, I just did a whole week of readings. I did a special for people who live up in the Yukon. So I'm doing my last 2 this afternoon. And that's been a real pleasure. And I'm also, I've got, everything's open for doing online reading circles. So if any of you would like to host one on Zoom, or know somebody who would like to host one, then please send them to my website, and I'm more than happy to chat with them and see what we can organize. My website is powersorcerer.com, which is spelled power, SOURCERER, deliberate misspelling, because I help you to find the source of your power. So Andrea says, no, my daughter has a 4-leaf clover necklace to remember her by. They call themselves the Leprechaun Twins. Well, yes. And maybe she might need to be a leprechaun this Halloween, even if it's just at home. Because we might have to do our trick-or-treating online this year. It seems like we're figuring out how to do everything online this year. I just came out of a 4-day online conference, international conference, with more than 500 people attending over last weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And boy, was that encouraging. So much positive energy out there. So many people trying new things and looking at things in new ways, and really conscious about the ethical use of technology, and what we can do to save the planet, and how we can change our business paradigm and our economic paradigm. It was so encouraging. And you know, all using Zoom and Vimeo and SoundCloud and WhatsApp, and so curating it, putting it all together with all the different forms of technology. We had dance lessons online, we had meditation, we had musicians playing, we had a virtual reality that was created by computer artists, and like it was phenomenal. And I am so encouraged when I see that we have the ability to do that, and that there are enough of us in the world right now to grow that kind of community across international borders, and with common language, so that we can all work on this. There were 32 satellite cities or hub cities around the world at the same time as this conference was going on. If any of you are interested in finding out more about it, it's called the House of Beautiful Business. So if you Google the House of Beautiful Business, it's in Berlin. And the conference that just finished was called The Great Wave. That was the theme for this year. And apparently they chose it before all the COVID, before anybody knew about the COVID stuff becoming a pandemic, and it was so appropriate that's what it was. So Tracy says, is there a green business that I could start that would help the planet? the idea came to me last night. What they're saying to me, Tracy, is that you are a communicator more than you are a business person. So you would be better off to work at the communication end as part of a team doing communication for a green business. So they're saying, keep your eye open for green businesses that resonate with you, that you feel are in alignment with your values, and then go and approach them and see what they're doing about their communication. And I think that is a better route. They're not showing me you as a small business person or you as an entrepreneur. That's not the best use, the happiest use of your gifts and talents. So there we go. So that's us for today, everybody. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about what I'm offering these days and how to get in touch with me, then I'll be talking about that and my rate structure and what I'm doing with my rate structure. I'll be talking about that for 5 or 10 minutes. And for the rest of you, thank you so much for being with me here live today. You make my day, you make my week. I love to be able to do this. All of you, once you're part of the Ask Lucca Live group, you can invite people in yourself. So feel free to go ahead and do that if it feels right, if you come across someone that you think would be happy to be part of the group. I do repost by about 3 o'clock. So an hour from now, I will have the recording up in all the places where I normally put it. So I'm putting it on my channel on YouTube, which links to my website. I put it on Instagram. I put it here. It goes here immediately on my Facebook page, and I try to remember to put it onto MeWe, which is a different platform, which is one that is not as commercially oriented as Facebook and Instagram are. So you can find it in all those places. You can direct your friends to it in all those places. If you'd like to go back and listen to previous episodes, they're all here on Ask Lucca Live. I haven't taken any of them off, but if you're not on Ask Lucca Live, or if you know somebody who isn't, who's interested in finding out a little bit more about it, then they can go and listen to the other recordings and see how they feel about it. Sometimes people need to try it out to feel if it's a community that fits for them. So blessings to all of you. Remember that you too can speak intuition, and I will see you all same time, same place next Saturday. And remember to get your questions to me by noon, and I will endeavor to send out my reminder the day before. So thank you again for being with me. So for those of you who are still around, I have two different ways in which I offer my services. One of them is doing readings like I'm doing here. So the least expensive one is the Ping mini readings, which are 15 minutes for $30 Canadian. So if you're overseas, that may be even more affordable for you with the currency exchange. And the pings are best for little short questions along the lines of what you asked today. Or if you've worked with me before and we already have shorthand and I already know what's going on with you. It's not great for the meaning of life questions. Those I can definitely deal with, but they're better in the hour-long readings. And my hour-long readings normally are $175 plus 5% GST. But if that causes any hardship for you, then please suggest what you can pay that doesn't cause hardship for you, and we will find a way to make that work. So that's my rate structure. My feeling right now is that everybody has need. We have need to check in with our own intuition and with the intuition, with the higher knowing of the planet. And I would rather do the work and be creative with the rate structure than not do the work. It's clear to me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trusting that what I need will come in as I need it and when I need it, and hopefully we can take care of all of your needs at the same time. So that's the doing readings, one-on-one readings for people. I also do reading circles. that can be anywhere from 6 to 15 people. And I do those on Zoom, and everybody can see everybody else. So it works just like a circle in somebody's living room does. And those are $50 per person, and they last for between 2 and 3 hours, depending on the length of on the number of people that are in the group. And I do a lot of explaining there of how I do the work that I do and what my story is. So it's also an educational piece about what readings are and what energy is and how it works. So that's the reading circles part of it. And then the other part that I do is the coaching part, and teaching people to the skills that they need and giving them the resources they need and the validation so that they can listen to their own intuition and trust it. And so basically I'm like training wheels for your intuition. And we can do it in two ways. One of them is in a group where you get the support of a community of people doing the same thing. And we talk a lot about using it in your professional life. And the other way to do it is what I call power in your back pocket, which is doing it one-on-one, and often around your business needs as well. But your personal needs and your business needs are all considered in together. So it's very specific to you. And I do that on a contract. Both of those options, the power circles and the power in your back pocket, I do exploratory sessions. In fact, I offer exploratory sessions free for everything. An exploratory session, except for the Ping mini readings, because they're as long as the exploratory session would be. But the exploratory for doing a reading is 15 minutes. And basically, I can explain to you exactly how I do a reading, what I'm tuning into and how it works. And I also do an exploratory for the coaching sessions. That's an hour and a half. And I do it for the power circles, and that's between an hour and a half. And then I follow up with you afterwards and give you all the information that you need to make up your mind about whether or not that's a good fit for you at all. Whether I'm a good fit for you, and maybe it might be a good fit or a better fit for you at another time later on. So there's no pressure. It's not a sales pitch. It's an explanation of what we would be doing. And we actually get some work done so that you can try it out and see what it feels like, so that you know what it is, and it's not a mystery before you commit to it. So that's it for us for today. You're very welcome. It's been my great pleasure. I look forward to seeing you next week. And as I said before, until next time, remember, you too can speak intuition.